And welcome back to the Gers TV. Ferencvárosi 2, Rangers 1 in the Europa League. Rangers are effectively out of the Europa League now. And in my opinion, they got everything they deserved. A very disappointing night. I've got Gordy here, and Jay back home. How are we doing, guys? I'll start with Gordy.
Yeah, good mate. Obviously a bit disappointed and frustrated about tonight, but we'll get to that shortly, I presume.
Yeah, I'm the same, to be honest. I'm just fed up.
Were you surprised?
Well, I'm not. I didn't really expect much, but I expected a lot more than what we got. You know, I felt like the players played like they just couldn't be bothered to be there. You know, and I feel sorry for the fans that made the trip over because, you know, they deserve to get their money back for that performance they put in today.
Well, let's start with what the problems are and where we think we can fix them. I'll start with that. The most of the problems with this team just now are from pre-season, from the Thelwell days, Russell Martin, and we'll basically get a bag of shit we've got to deal with until January, and even then it's going to be hard. But that said, that's 5 games now that Danny Rose picked the wrong team, and the last 10 minutes you could see easily that Curtis and Moore, if they can't get a game ahead of some of the Dross, we've got some serious concerns. The defence are absolutely woeful. You just pick a different defender every week to make a mistake, a vital mistake. And the attack, well, Miovski, great goal. Now he's injured with another muscle injury. Shermiti is incredibly bad, and Danilo just looks finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the big worry for me, the Miovski injury, because I was saying on the WhatsApps before, like he's finally hitting form. You know, great taking goal today to score. But if he's not playing now, I mean, who's scoring the goals for us? Because we can rely on Shermiti, that useless idiot. Honestly, I can't believe he spent so much money on him because he is nowhere near the levels required. I don't even feel like he's at the levels required to be a professional footballer at this rate. You know, I said on the show the other week, he looked like a soccer aid player. He is not good enough. He's never going to be good enough. And I was stuck with him. But it's like, if Miovski's injured, what are we going to do? Who are we going to be playing there? Because we cannot rely on him. So we're going to have to play Danilo up top. And he looked finished today. He didn't look like he had the legs or even the desire to make something happen. He looked a bit lost. And I'm just lost for words, to be honest, in terms of like the quality that we've got in this squad. How have we spent so much money and this is now the outcome we spend? Yeah, it's pathetic.
Gordy.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo both your points, I mean the defence is woeful, and Simon says the problems began pre-season with the fact that we don't have a permanent defence, and you know, the worst thing is we need to rip it all up in January and start again with the defence. Jay, I'll go on to Shermiti in a wee second, and Danilo as well. I thought that a couple of players did okay tonight. You know, not every player played absolutely horrible. I thought there was a couple of decent performances. I've been impressed with Barron in the last few weeks. I think he's coming on in a game.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Miovski because he kept trying up until his injury. And, you know, I've been critical of the strikers, including Miovski, but what a finish it was. So he gets past marks. You know, but, you know, I'm running out of things to say about this guy, Shermiti, because it's unbelievable that this guy is costing £8 million. Now, I cannot remember him touching the ball when he came on. Like, no. I can remember he got a foul towards the end when the guy kind of tugged his shoulder, but I genuinely cannot remember him touching the ball.
I think he nearly got the ball a few times.
And
honestly, I think he's nearly going.
And you know what? This is our money.
Aye,
do you know what I mean? It's our money that we spent in this guy. And you said soccer age. I mean, Simon talks about, you know, his BB days in here. And I even now, I don't think Shermiti would even get the game of Simon's BB team. And you know, and yeah, it's incredible. And Danilo, Danilo's not get the ball for me in the 3 years he's been here. But that's what people.
So let's go through what we're talking about. Where you gave us there, right? I think we would all agree that we're hoping that Miovski's just been taken up as precaution, because if no, the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, it's going to be a real struggle. That's a concern if he's injured for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, because especially now in this period, the amount of games that we've got coming thick and fast, and big games as well. You got Hibs on Monday, then you've got obviously the game against Hearts, and then you go into Motherwell and St Mirren, and then you've got the Old Firm at the start of Jan. So we need him available. If we don't have him available, we're not. I mean, I think getting before the Old Firm, you're looking at those 4 fixtures. You know, obviously, I'm going to hope we get 12 out of 12. Realistically, I think probably 10 out of 12 points will be a good return, considering the squad that we've got in this currently. But if we don't have Miovski available, I mean,
serious
I
problems.
can't even see us getting 10 out of 12 in those games. You know, we'll be lucky to get 8.
And another thing as well, sorry, I actually think we missed a moot. I thought Gassama was absolutely dog shit at times.
He was. But the thing is, I feel like we've been praising him so much because every other player that we signed has been absolute dog shit, right? Since the start of the season. So Gassama's been like the one that we put on this pedestal and said, oh, he's the one that's actually been all right. But he has been going downhill rapidly. And I feel like he had this impact when he first joined, and he had the goal against Panathinaikos, was it? And both legs against Panathinaikos. And
great goal.
He scored against Pilsen as well. Yeah, he did. He scored a couple against Pilsen as well. And he had that really, like, that purple patch. But since then, what has he done? Really? Nothing?
I mean, I would argue he's just dropped. He's clearly a good player, but he's dropped, and you've got young Curtis that could come in there, and he's not getting a chance.
And I feel like that's where he's going to be at his best, Gassama, when he's not relied on week in, week out to be the one creative spark in the team. You can see that pressure's weighing on his shoulders. You can see he's drowning under that pressure. He needs to be taken out the firing line and give that young boy Curtis an opportunity, because you saw today, he comes on and he finds himself in the right place at the right time to get chances, you know, and he nearly scored towards the end there. I think it deflected wide. But
yeah, it was really unlucky. But just to comment, a statement he said there, I'm going to throw us to Gordy. He was drowning with the pressure. How many players in this team could you describe that with? Because there's a few I could mention.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question. But what we need to remember, I think, is that we're bringing these guys in from Sheffield Wednesday,
lower leagues.
You know, from Dundee, from Sheffield Wednesday. We brought Gigan Fernandez from Peterborough. You know, playing. Obviously, probably wouldn't expect him to play in a big game like this, but nevertheless, we're bringing in, you know, Asgard. Asgard signed from Norwich or Ipswich or
something like that. Aye.
And you know, we're bringing these guys in that probably are good, promising potential players on paper, and they probably tick the right boxes for the stats when they were looking at them to sign. But we're bringing in guys for lower leagues in England. No expectation, no pressure. And at the Goldfish Bowl of Glasgow, look at what's happened to Wilfred Nonce. He's only been in the game 2 days, and people are phoning to get sacked.
Right?
No,
I mean 100%. I get that.
And so the pressure on these guys, the pressure on these young, and the young guys as well. So the pressure on these,
and that's back to what I said earlier. The biggest problem was pre-season. Before we blame anybody, is the pre-season.
So to answer your question, around about weight, yes, we're putting too much expectation on these guys, and like Gassam, we're expecting him to go to Hungary. How many European games has Gassam played in his career? 4 or 5 for Rangers now. That's it. Yep. And we're expecting him to get every pass, every counter attack, every ball, and create chances. And you're right, Si. It's the expectation on these guys is just too much. And
just to bounce back on that, this is something that I know I'm repeating myself here, because most of the times we repeat ourselves because it's the same problems. A minute to go in the first half, and you knew they were going to score. See, when they scored, our heats were down for almost the rest of the game. We came out the second half. They had the bee in their bonnet, and we just looked as if we felt sorry for ourselves. If nobody had any confidence in the defence, Tavernier at very, very most should be a squad player. He's not got the fitness to be up the park and then get back in position, as we've seen. He can't stop a man from crossing a ball, and he's still taking. I said this before the game. I don't know if any saw it. He's still taking every single set piece. The corners are absolute crap. They're rotten. We need to change it. We need to get different. Tavernier needs to be dropped. Unfortunately, who takes his place? Because Max Arons isn't really any better.
But this is a position that I feel like is an awkward one for us, because we need to find a right back good enough. But we've currently got 2 in the squad, so it's not going to be like a target in January. Because if we do bring in a right back, we're going to either have to sell Tav or send Max Aarons back to his club.
There's a simple answer to it, but it doesn't fix the problem. Is probably Sterling would fit in there better, right? But Sterling's then you could also argue that Sterling could take Fernandez's place, Giga's place, Magoma's place. You can't.
Yeah.
The one man can't replace them all. So
But
we've got a real problem in that defence.
We do, and Giga's got one game left for us, Hibs on Monday, and then he's off to the Africa Cup of Nations. So Sterling is going to be playing right centre back, because who else is going to be playing in that position other than putting Tav there?
Yep.
But for me, it's got to be Sterling all day long. Get him playing right centre back and trying to build some sort of partnership. But it's such. I mean, their first game together is going to be hearts away. The first game that Sterling and Fernandes will be playing together, so it's not going to be an easy task. It's going to be a struggle, I feel, to get through this period.
And back to what Gordy said, all these guys are all guys that are getting the pressure on them are all guys that don't look like they can handle the pressure, and probably never had this pressure before in their lives.
No.
Yeah, I mean, just go back to defence. We're going to lose Jigger, who I don't know what the defence is going to be in literally a week's time. And this is a season-defining run of fixtures we're on. If we don't get, as Jay said, and probably yourself, Simon, we don't get 10 out of 12 points in the next 4 games, we haven't got a hope in hell of challenging for the league title. What we've got to do is somehow, and if we don't have Miovski, who's played well the last couple of games, coming
on to form.
How typical of it is it for that to happen to Rangers in recent seasons when players start to play well and then they get injured. I look back on guys even like Dijon Sterling, for example, who's gone to a game out for 8 months. You look at guys like in the past, like even Danilo, much as he played pro this season, he got a good run of form up until his injury at St Johnstone or St Mirren or something, out for 6 months. It's so frustrating, and it's been. I know we've talked about Daniel since Daniel came in, but since I was a young boy,
it's always been a case.
I can't remember. I don't know any team that happens to.
However, the only thing I would say about that is if they're all muscle injuries, then that's got to be identified. But we need to, as Gordon's trying to say, we need to stop this, right? But if it's the same similar injuries, then there's got to be a common denominator.
Is it the pitches at the Auchenhowie? Is it?
I don't know.
There'll be something. It'll be diet. It could be, the warm ups that the coaches are putting them through. Are they warming up enough? What's the attitude like during the warm up? It could be a number of things. Once they finish training, what are they doing? Are they putting their feet up? Are they chilling, playing games? Like, are they doing proper cool down procedures? I mean, there's so much that they need to look into in that club to look at a club that, if you go to the Premier League, surely we've got people in that club that's got connections to, the top clubs in the world, where we can have a look, go to spend some time with them and have a look at how they manage situations, how they manage their training sessions and their warm-ups and the cool downs, etc. What are they doing in their off time? What's their diet like? The dietary plan, all of that sort of stuff. We should be, looking at the teams that don't have these sorts of issues. But you look at Arsenal, for example, in the Premier League at the minute. I mean, they've had seasons gone by where they've done well and they've not had any injuries. But the last couple of seasons, they're getting hit hard as well. They're getting injuries every game at the minute. So it's like, even it happens to the clubs where you expect them to have the best facilities, and the top people in.
I do agree with that. There is the aspect of bad luck or the 3 games a week issue as well. But for an example, we're playing on Monday night. We've got Hibs at Ibrox. They're going to probably target our defence and probably hammer us, because if we get any more injuries, literally, who else can? I know we're saying who else can we play, but genuinely, who else can we play? We're running out of defenders very, very quickly.
Well, Enciala, where's he?
Well, I don't know. He seemed to be in the squad last week. He's not in the European squad, I don't think.
No, he's not. I don't think.
And I don't think Rowe likes him. I don't know or trust him, but he's not really had a fair opportunity in this season. I'll say that for him.
He's not. Has he played this season? I can't remember.
I don't think he has. No first team that I can think of anyway. Do I think he's good enough? Well, possibly no, but he does deserve another chance. Another thing is, we might not have a choice. We're really, really short of defenders. And we played 3 at the back here. Will we stick with that? I don't know.
I didn't like it. I felt like the players looked lost. They didn't know who to pass to when they got the ball.
Well, mainly because Tavernier kept getting lost.
Yeah, he didn't know what position he was playing.
There was so many times where Tav goes from the right into the middle, he loses the ball. And it's like, I mean, what are you doing in the first place doing that?
Yeah.
And then second of all, which you said a few times in recent weeks, he doesn't have the energy to get back now because he's 34, 35.
3 years ago, 3 years ago he can do it.
He's older. But you know, if he's the captain of our club. He's, you know, been there for 10 years, but he's still making these decisions to cut inside and to go on a run for no reason for literally no reason whatsoever. Like, there's no reason for it. And then he can't get back. And then even the time he does get back, I was trying to think this on the way up to the studio tonight. I cannot remember Tavernier blocking one cross in my entire life watching them at Rangers. I can't remember it.
That's a point I was going to make. The second goal was awful defending from Fernandes, but he shouldn't have had the cross in the first place.
Yeah,
Tavernier should have blocked the cross. So
I know.
He jumps out the way of every.
But how many times did we say that about Tav? How many times did we say about blocking crosses? He can't do it. He doesn't get out to them quick enough. His legs look to have gone. You know, a comment here from Chick Sharp on about Tav. Last 2-3 years, he should have been playing right midfield. Do you think that's the option now for Tav? Just push him forward, get him away from the defence because.
Well, I said that at the start of the season. At the start of the season, I said if you're going to play Tav, you can't play him at the defence, and he can't be the last man in defence because he's not got the legs for it. He's a half decent player still going forward, and he can create a bit of danger, but he can't get back. He just simply hasn't got the legs to get back, and that's a problem.
There was a moment in the second half where I think we got dispossessed in midfield and Tav's like bombing forward and leaving that space for them to counter. How many times have we seen that already this season? It's like
not even this season.
You know, it's not like Vasquez or whoever had the ball. I think it might be Vasquez at the time has acres of space for him to play the ball into Tav, and you know, and it's justified his run forward. It's like he was surrounded by bodies. It was so risky to start bombing forward when the chance of him being dispossessed were quite high in that scenario. So,
and also I don't actually think they were a great team tonight, but they were better than us. But a really good team would have, like so the Bruges game, a really good team would have tore us apart with that defence tonight.
Yeah,
we were all over the place.
I was thinking during the game, I'm putting this performance in the same bracket as a 6-0 against Bruges, because if you look at the actual quality of opposition, them compared to Bruges, I mean, Bruges would batter these lot. They would absolutely batter these lot.
Yeah.
But our performance levels were sort of similar. We looked scared. We looked like out of ideas. We looked like we didn't care. We didn't want to be on the pitch, you know. And against Bruges, we were playing with 10 men for the most of the game, whereas this was with 11. And I still felt like we weren't really doing enough to try and win the game. You know, there was a moment in the second half where I think we were on the break. Curtis had the ball, and the commentator was saying that Tav was asking everyone to calm down. Then you could see Curtis stop, play the ball backwards. Then we played it back to the goalkeeper. I'm like, I think there might have been like a 3-on-4 and 4-on-4 in that situation.
I remember that.
We managed to go all the way back to the goalkeeper. I'm like, that just showed exactly the intent of the team in this game. It was just, let's hold on to this 1-1 and try not to concede. But then what happened? We sit back, we don't block crosses, and they have an easy goal. 2-1, and then we start to look like we want to start playing football. But why does it take for us to go 2-1 down for us to actually get up the pitch?
And then when we started at that point, when you say we're starting to play football and we're looking for a goal, Chermiti's on at this point and Miovski's off, so you've no strike force.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's no point in lying about it. You've no strike force if he's a striker.
No.
So at that point, it's too late. It's too little, too late. I think they should have brought Moore and cut us on a lot earlier, and we were unlucky with the Miovski. But when we scored the goal, we need to learn to score a second goal, kill teams off, and we need to stop this time when we lose a goal, the heads go down, because that was about 40 minutes. Well, not 40 minutes, about half an hour after that goal, we were still heads down.
But that comes down to leaders. Who are the leaders in the team? Who are the characters that are gonna pull the younger lads through moments like that and to really get them going again for the second half? I feel like that's what we should have been doing in the summer, having a group of leaders in there that's going to, you know, drive the younger lads on and try to, you know, bring them up to the levels required. But instead we had the likes of Kieran Dowell, part of the leadership team, and players like that, and that's where we went wrong in the summer, and we're suffering for it now, and we need to try and find a couple of leaders in January that can come into this team and make an immediate impact.
To stand a chance, and it might be too late. I know Gordy's mentioned that a minute ago, but I don't want to be too doom and gloom. But to stand a chance, he probably needs to bring in about 4 or 5 players in January. Can he do that? It's going to be hard. One of the suggestions I would have would be, and I'm not naming a player, is maybe getting an older head, somebody that's needing a club, an older head that's not going to last us 2 into the year. And I know it's not a great model, but somebody that can calm it down and play football and talk the rest of the players in the defence through it. Who that is, I don't know, but there must be somebody out there, because we can't have all these inexperienced young boys who are not getting any better. They're getting worse with the expect. It's too heavy a jersey for them, so they need to find somebody. Hopefully, they'll be looking at players, but it's going to be really hard. I think if they don't get at least 4 or 5 players in January, they will really, really struggle.
Yeah, it's an absolute necessity. But I've been hearing rumours that we're looking at some young Norwegian lad, 20-year-old from the Norwegian league. But I think he's number 6 midfielder. But again, we're looking at young boys coming into a team full of young boys when we need to recruit a few men. You know, so if there's an opportunity to get a good a player that we really feel has got a top level in him, and we don't want to miss out on him, fine. Because if he's going to come in at that 6, maybe he's going to be the Raskin replacement if you're selling Raskin on in the summer, and then you've got him for 6 months to get him up to speed, etc. Happy with that, but like you say, we're going to need 5 or 6 players in this in January, and it's not just about signing players. We need to find the right players with the right attitude, with the right characters about them, who can actually add value from here on out to the rest of the season.
So we're out of Europe, right? We're out of Europe, so it's only about Scottish football at the end of the season. And again, I'm repeating myself, but the boy Gogic would be he would be a good option if you could get Cornelius to the end of the season, or Suter, and the 2 of them in the centre of the defence. Just a guy that understands Scottish football, who takes no nonsense and clears the ball. Because see, when the ball comes into our box for a cross, we're all over the place. We're all over it.
I've just come in here, and a couple of weeks ago, I think I disagreed with you on the show regarding this guy Gogic. But see, right now, if you offer me Gogic for 6 months, I would
to the end of the season,
bite your hand off and take it, because right now we've got nobody in that defence that's willing to take command of the situation. See, but even Butland fumbled a cross in the first half. It was such an easy ball to catch, and it was just that just sums it up. Where you've got if you've got a no nonsense set, just one no nonsense centre back, like somebody like Balogun, Gogic, Marvin Andrews, whatever name you want to throw out there, somebody like that
clears the lines.
That just they can win a header and just get the ball. Don't care about trying to beat a man and pass the ball at the side. Just get out of the park. Because sometimes, sometimes especially when we are, playing against the low block teams, counter attack, or teams just do set pieces, corners, crosses into the box. That's what you need, somebody that can win a header. And see if we just get somebody like that maybe not necessarily that particular player. If he does, good.
That type of player.
But that type of player, just for even, I hate using this phrase because it's not the kind of model we want, but a stopgap for 6 months that can shut other teams out and just win a tackle, win a header. Do you know what I mean? We're not asking much. Somebody can block a cross.
I don't think as a backup, Fernandez would be too bad, and I think he will be a good player in the future. But it's an experiment. There's too many experiments at the club. Giga had not a good game. He had a better game tonight, but last against Roma he had a stinker. He's not good enough to play for Rangers, so we need to identify that area quickly. But it's so obvious we need to identify it. Anybody we're going to approach will put the price up, and why would they know? Why would you know do that, Taze?
But that's January for you, The clubs only really sign players in January when they're desperate, when they need someone to come in and make changes and make improvements to the squad. So obviously the prices are going to go up, but we need reinforcements. We can't go without it, in January, because otherwise we will finish 3rd at best if we don't strengthen the squad. Can you see us finishing any higher if we keep the same squad from now to the end of the season?
And how he's going to get rid of to bring players in, he's got to get rid of players as well.
And that's the biggest challenge for me.
Thelwell's really put him in the shit for this. How's he going to do that?
Yeah, because every club no matter how much the American wrestlers might want to put in, every club's got a wage budget, every club's got a transfer budget, and every club has to have now to operate within financial fair play rules as well. So we have to. I mean. The only option is to take the hit on these. It's probably terrible to say, especially guys like Danilo. But who's going to come in, look at somebody like Danilo, and pay money for him? Do you know what I mean? Like realistically, he scored 10 goals in 3 years. He's on 28 grand a week. He's get injured half the time. And when he plays, he doesn't touch. He doesn't. He's I don't know. He's a passive passenger type player. So I don't know what has been on in the summer with these transfers. And I mean, I don't want to say anything out of turn, but it just as the weeks go on and the performances get worse, it just looks crazier and crazier. And
I really don't
hell
think
of a
there's many
situation.
managers in the world who'd be able to fix this short term. To be fair,
No.
other than Danny Rowe.
I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, even if we fall further behind the league, we cannot get rid of another manager so quickly.
I don't think that's on the cards. I think he's under so much pressure to get them.
That cannot be on the cards. None of this is Danny Rowe, in my opinion. There's so many issues with the squad. We could have Pep Guardiola in the freaking dugout. What's he going to do with him? What's he going to do with Schmidt up top? Absolutely no chance. I mean,
So
even Simon's motivational skills would struggle with Schmidt up front, and that's saying something.
My worry, guys, what's more important if we can only sort one area of the park out? Is it defence or up front? I would say, and I'm not saying this lightly, I would say we need to fix the defence before the attack. However, I'm not 100% sure which one's more important.
I think as it currently stands, defence, because Miovski is coming into form now. So, and we've already got obviously him. And if we maybe start to play the likes of Curtis, Mikey Moore's looking like he's gonna hit, the levels that the Tottenham fans have been speaking about. So I feel like we've got opportunities there to improve. Defensively, I can't see who comes in and improves that. I can't see levels getting any better for the players that we've got defensively, and that's probably why. If you asked me a couple of weeks ago, I was 100% saying we need a new attack, a complete new attack. But if we had to choose between the two, at the minute, it's defence for me.
The midfield will get us to the end of the season. They're not the greatest midfield, but they'll get us to the end of the season. We've got a few guys in there that'll bust a gut for us. But the defence is a real worry. They will go back to the four at the back at the weekend, Monday, against Hibs. I really don't know, because their confidence must be getting worse as well, to be fair. The defenders, they must start thinking what we're thinking. And I honestly think that Jack Butland, he's a victim of this as well, because with these guys in front of you, he must be shitting himself.
Yeah. Doesn't give you confidence, does it, when you're a goalkeeper and you've got Jigger and Fernandez doing all sorts in front of you. You don't know whether to come or to go. Or
to be fair, I think Jigger had a wee spell in the second half where he played, really well for 25 minutes.
I thought he played all right tonight.
But the worrying thing is, but it's a big caveat with this is you just look at them; they've always got a mistake in them. And I see, especially the first half, every attack Ferencvárosi had tonight was, I cannot remember, apart from the goal right at the end, I didn't see Ferencvárosi actually cutting us open with their play. It was all from either a misplaced pass, mistimed tackle, a misplaced dribble that we had.
But we're so easy to beat.
Yeah.
So any organised team knows what
we have said it in this show for at least 18 months. All you have to do is get the ball on the right-hand side, put the ball in the box.
Aye.
And it's a goal.
And that's what they've done.
Or you just put the ball to the middle and then,
So he's probably watched this, to be fair. He's probably watched it, and it's quite an easy area. But for the manager's point of view, it's an uphill task. The two European games that are left, is it two Europa games left?
Yeah, and then we could easily. It's so ludicrous to think this, because we all spoke about how we thought it was a favourable draw, but apart from Roma and Porto at the start, we are 1 point off the bottom, and we've got Ludogorets and Porto. I can see us getting absolutely hammered on current form away at Porto, so we could easily finish bottom in the league, and but it's a prize money as well. Like, we've lost out on millions upon millions,
and that's going to hurt us big time. Because we've been doing so well in Europe, and that's helped us and helped the club financially, bring players in and helped this new ownership be able to spend even more money than they probably anticipated, the 20 million that they brought in. I mean, how much did we spend? Close to 40. So all this stuff helps, and it also helps attract players into the club, because they can see us getting to Europa League quarterfinals, getting knocked out in the group stage, not just help, is a disadvantage for us financially going into next transfer windows, etc., but actually attracting players to the club,
But that said, and I agree with I do agree with 100%. But the league's now the bread and butter. The Scottish football's the bread and butter. And as much as I hate saying it, I would completely write off the Europa League now.
Yeah,
it's pointless.
We can save this.
The money, we need the money, but
we can save this by winning the league, right? And that is why the owners absolutely have to invest in the squad in January, because the league's there to be won. We win the league, we go straight into the Champions League group stage. All of this shambles that we're currently in and losing money, not qualifying for the next round, that is gone because of the amount of money that we'll get from qualifying for the Champions League group stage. We'll get absolutely battered, don't get me wrong, every single game probably. If you look at Bruges, they've only got 4 points so far. They got battered last night at home to Arsenal.
That's just the world of football, though.
Huh?
That's just the world of football. The bigger countries now have got too much power.
Yeah.
But short term, we need to get this fixed. The other problem we've got, we're saying that we need to do this in January, right? Celtic's got to strengthen in January, and Hearts are going to have to strengthen as well, I think. So it's not just a case of going out and buying players. It's going to be a hard job for Danny Rowe to get the right players in, unless we go for a German market. Or
can I ask you a question? And it just came up in my head then when we were talking about it. See in the next 4 games, see if we fall further behind, realistically, right? And I hate myself for even putting this out there, but are the owners going to spend millions and millions of pounds in January chasing a dead horse, like flogging a dead horse? If we end up we've got Hibs, Hearts, and Celtic in the next 4 weeks, guys, yeah?
Yeah.
We could, God forbid, but we could end up 12, 13 points behind. Now, I hope we don't. I think we won't. But if we do, come January the 4th, will the owners actually give Daniel 20 million to spend?
I think they committed themselves and said they were going to put money in. And the Americans, as much as I know what Gordy's saying, because if I was owners, I'd probably be thinking, wait now. But I think the Americans have seemed to have a different approach. They've got a more relaxed approach.
I hope so. I mean, I hope.
I don't know the answers. What I'm trying to say.
Could you imagine the uproar though? Could you imagine a situation where we're 12, 13 points behind and we don't sign anyone in January? Could you imagine? So these owners will have come in, wasted a load of money, made us worse than we were last season. And last season, I remember thinking this is a really bad team. Even though we got to the quarterfinal of the Europa League, we still got beat at home to Queen's Park. I remember thinking this is a really bad team. We've somehow made it so much worse this season, and for the owners to then not react and not invest when we need them to do it most, I think that for a lot of fans, that would be the end of the line. They'll be like,
because they're then going to be asking for season ticket money again, and people are getting frustrated. The other problem is, it's back to what I'm saying, the January market, because they were desperate, and there's other clubs looking for players as well, we're going to pay a lot more money for players than what their value is. However, the flip side to that is what Gordy's saying and you're saying. If we don't do it, the fans are then going to say, why you no backing us? We need the backing. It's a massive, massive job for Danny Rowe. I don't actually think he realised how big a job it was when he came in. Scottish football, he's played well in Scottish football and we're getting by, but these injuries are taking their toll. And it's going to get harder and harder. And we've not done any favours for any real favours in Scottish football when it comes to the big games. So it's going to be a real struggle for him. But it is one game at a time now. We'll see how we go on at the weekend, because maybe Miovski's not as bad as we think, and that's a big help if it's the case. And Sterling's back in the team. Moore's coming on to a bit of form, and I would definitely be looking at playing young Finlay Curtis.
Yeah, Finlay Curtis for me. I feel like he would give the fans a lift, because even when things aren't going well, we want to see our own coming into the squad and living their dreams, and even though we do have a lot of injuries, this is the importance of having a good academy so we can continually get players into the first team, because an injury for one is an opportunity for another. If we've got a young, boy in the academy, loves the club, will do his all for the club, we want to see these guys getting the opportunities, and trying to take them when there are opportunities there through the likes of injuries and that.
Aye, so to do that, and this is me not getting anybody, because we're as bad as anybody else, but to do that, no matter what happens this season, they need to keep the manager on, and it needs to be a long-term project with the board, because you can't keep new managers in and trying to get the youth set up, and you have to have a proper youth set up with real top-class coaches, and that's mentally as well, because I feel as if some of the players have maybe got the ability, but John Brown always used to say to me, they don't know how to play for it. They don't understand how to play for Rangers. They can't companies. It's got to be the right type. So that's a long-term project, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I completely agree. We cannot keep getting rid of managers. I mean, for me, I don't put any of the blame on Danny Rowe, because what is he to do? What's the guy to do when you're given this pile of shit that he's got given right now? But he has won 5 out of the last 7 league games, whereas before he came, we won 1 out of 8. So
that's why I'm saying concentrate in the league.
Yeah,
I hate saying it, but concentrate in the league.
I mean, I said it before. I think we've all said it. All we need to try and do, to our best of our ability, is just get through this stage. Get through the next 4 weeks relatively unscathed. I mean, I think we've got, even with injuries, I think we can go to Tynecastle, win if we've got, if you said it, Simon, about the mentality. I think we can beat Hibs at home.
Yeah, but by the way, and if he has to do this, still Walter Smith, see if he has to make us boring for 5 weeks, just make us solid at the back, boring.
I mean,
that could be the case.
The problem we've got is that, Walter Smith had guys like Davy Weir at the back, and we've got. I mean,
you got Jigger, mate.
I'm not going to say any words that disparaging words against Rangers players, but I mean, I've watched some of these games this season. It's like I can't even comprehend how they were. I can't even comprehend how a scout could look at a player like Jigger and go, "Oh, he'll be good against Celtic at home and European games this season."
I think to answer that would be, we're trying to avoid saying it, that it seems as if we're being the victim here. Some unsavoury behaviour. I need to watch what you're saying, because if anybody sues me, I've only got about 30 quid left. But you'll get it. Something's not right, and I think in years to come we'll be looking at what happened with the Thelwell case. But this will
be a documentary on it, that's for sure.
Because he'll not disappear. He'll be still involved with football at some point.
He gets a job somewhere and takes all
my players.
I'm praying for that, by the way.
But
hopefully before the January transfer window.
This is a major problem we've got. Is I think we're still going to be talking about some of these signings at the end of the season. I think this is going to be a real problem for us. And the manager, how does he get rid of him? That's what we keep saying it, but
you've got to take. I actually think that from a business point of view, you say it's a write-off. It's
might be the best thing to do.
You say, give him. I mean, see if somebody is still at the end of the season, you come to an agreement and you go give him he's got a 4-year contract. I mean, you put him out on loan for a season, and then you say a second-rate Portuguese team, just say take him. You know what I mean? Pay half his wages for a season. See if it gets on.
See for Danny Rowe's point of view. See if it was the old setup with Europe, and we just got no toot my arse last month. He would only have to league to think about, and you wouldn't have had all these problems. And that would have suited him, and that's helped managers in the past. But we're still in the Europa League, so we still got to play 2 games that are now meaningless, and there's money involved in it. But he came in the first game he had, we didn't have much chance because the players all had their heads down. They didn't know what position they're meant to be playing, where they're meant to be playing. They didn't realise the size of the club. And he had 1 game to fix it, and he didn't have enough time. And he's still trying to fix it, but he'll still be trying to fix this at the end of the season. But it is what it is. We're in a real bad position.
Yeah. But what I like, though, about him is he tries to find solutions to things. He tries things. Things might not work. He's not afraid to make changes. He's a very proactive manager, which is what I like. Which is what I feel like managers are paid for. They're paid to make these big calls and these big decisions. He might not always get them right, but I like that the way that he's trying different things to try and get results.
He's a young manager. He'll be heading to the airport now, thinking to himself, right, no matter what I coach these guys, how do you compensate for that second goal? The first goal's bad enough. At least you could argue that Gassama isn't a defender. It was a shit move, but he's no defender. But the second move, you're right back and your centre half are all over the place. You can't coach that. That is out with the manager's control.
Yes, and to go to the first goal, Curtis had a moment in the second half where he ran the length of the pitch to put a tackle inside his own box. That is what you get, I feel like, more with Curtis than you would with Gassama. So maybe if you're looking at, let's try and be more solid at the back and build from that, you may be looking at a Curtis coming in and playing games because he's going to give you that work rate going back the way that I feel like Gassama switches off at times.
Gassama would be a better impact player. Gassama would have been better player to come on and Curtis starting. But that's hindsight, and it's easy for us to say things like that. But the big problem is what you said there. The wing back was Tavernier, and he's not fit enough to be. If he attacks, he can't get back, and if he's back, he can't attack. He's not got the fitness in him anymore. We would probably be better with Tavernier now, just saying, look, that's it. You're a squad player for to give the players morale. But at some point, we need to stop playing him. And I get he's still probably good enough for Scottish football, but we need to get to a level where a manager says enough is enough. I'm only blaming him for the game, but the second goal, he was all over the place. and Fernandes is just a big stupid young boy not looking the right way or anything. I don't know how to describe it.
I think with Tav, in the season's gone past, you would kind of excuse it up to a point and say, well, he's scoring goals, he's taking free kicks, he's scoring, he scored 24 goals this season, he scored 18 goals the season before, whatnot. I mean, he scored a couple of penalties this season. He's not now going forward having the impact that he was last season before last. So you can't even say, well, do you know what? The thing about Tav is, yes, he cost us the goal, but look, he set up to tonight or whatever.
Every road must end. He's done, man. He's finished.
And, it's a shame because I know Tav's come in for criticism. I think unfairly, some of it.
Maybe at times, but he's saying worse than maybe his interviews.
I was just going to say
that. I've not heard his interview tonight if he does one. But so, let's throw that. Let's flip that. Tavernier, for his point of view, almost won the Europa Cup, right? He can't keep up with that. It would do him the world of good to drop him and keep him at the team. We need to build this. We need to figure out how we're going to build this defence in the future. And next season, we cannot be starting with Tavernier. We cannot be doing that.
I can see Tav still being here next season, by the way.
That's my point I'm trying to say.
There's so many players that we need to buy, but he would definitely, next season, if he does stay, he has to be a bit part player, and we need to have an actual right back that we can trust.
But that's what we said at the start of this season.
That's what moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
That was a plan this season.
But we won't sign a right back this season because we've got Max Aarons. Unless we ship him off, we're going to be stuck with them too at right back. Potentially Sterling, if he decides he wants to play Sterling.
So the point I'm trying to make is at some point somebody's going to have to be the manager that says Tavernier's finished with Rangers, and I think Danny Rowe will have to seriously consider that.
I think it will be this season.
He took him off after the second goal, so he's seen what we've seen.
I think it will be for all intents and purposes. Yes, he may have been at the club beyond this season, but I think this will be his last season for being a regular starter at the club, and I think it's I think from both points of view, as you said, Si, from Tavernier's point of view as well. I mean, does he really want to be starting it again this next season when he can't keep up? It's going to tarnish his legacy.
Also, what we were saying is, right, I'm going to go what Jay said, but this was a plan this season, was he was going to be a bit part player. He's been playing 3 games a week. He's struggling to play one. He can't keep up. Age catches up with everybody, except for myself. Age catches up with everybody. It's caught up with him. He cannot do that job. He can't play as a wing back. He just simply can't do it. I can see Chick saying play him in the right midfield. That's a totally different argument. I'm not adverse to that because he's not doing as much running about. It's just he's not a young boy that can fulfill that role. Maybe we'll have to put our trust in Max Aarons and play him there for a few weeks because we've not got any options. But Sterling can't cover all these positions. So Giga's moving. Giga's away to Giga's away to the AFCON. So he's going to have to take that position. I would put Aarons in there. I don't like him. Before he comes in and goes, he's crap. I know that. But Tavernier's no got the ability, strength-wise and pace-wise, to do a wing-back. And that's the way Danny Rowe wants to play, I think.
I heard a rumour today that Max Aarons is looking to try and make his move permanent.
I'm
not sure that's true or not, but then if he is, for example, we need to see if he's going to be good enough because, some people have rocky starts to move to a new club, especially a club the size of Rangers. I would just play him. Let's play him and see what happens now, If it gets to the stage where he's an absolute mess, of course, we've got to take him out. But Tav hasn't got the legs to keep playing 3 games a week.
In an ideal world,
to see what he's got.
In an ideal world, I would disagree with that. But we're not in an ideal world. We don't have many choices. We're probably going to have to just do it. We can't keep up with Tavernier at right back. He can't keep the pace.
This has been a bit of man management. I think we'd come in for Danny Rowe. Danny Rowe could go to Aarons and say, listen, Max, if you want to stay at the club, you've got the next 5 or 6 games to prove to me you can start at right back. And if you do well, then that position could be yours because here's the plan for the squad for the next 18 months. But you need to step up, pardon the expression from our song, you need to step up and play. And over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
I agree with that.
And that's where a bit of man management comes in.
And I've got no doubt.
If Aarons thinks he's good enough, then he proves it.
I've got no doubt 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, bringing on Tavernier to slow a game down and put a bit of sensible head on it and game management. He would be able to cope with that and play well. But playing him 3 games a week, it shows his body can't do it anymore. And he always struggled with the defensive side of his game anyway. but it's catching up with him now. And I think that's a decision. Do we all agree on that? That's a decision that the manager's going to have to make. Some kinds of decisions here.
I think this season should be especially. I mean, if a guy like Tard plays the majority of games this season, for me, it's the last season for that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're good on sentiment, then would have been as well keeping Balogun, because Balogun was a lot less wages. And
what I would do to have him in the squad right now, what I would do to just get Balogun back for 6 months, because you know what you're getting with him. You're getting that heart, you're getting that desire, and he's got the quality to go with it as well. He knows what it takes to play for the club, but that's obviously not going to happen. But I would love it to happen.
Is there any more comments before we finish?
Let's have a look here. So there's comments coming in about them lot getting battered 3-0.
That's good.
They're getting battered 3-0 at home, half time to Roma, which is great.
Would you say who called it? He loses his first 3 games.
Oh, listen, I don't know how to gamble, because I put a horse on members in 1988 for the national, £1.10, and I think it's still running right. So I stopped gambling after that. I was doing Guy Fawkes in Ridley, penny for the guy, and a boy said to me, "Put this horse on," and he showed me how to do it. Not at the same time, but I was kind of in Ridley at the time, and I was watching the bookies, and I wanted to know how to do that. And I don't do gambling. And I've said to you guys after chat, I wouldn't mind sticking money on the nonce to lose the first 3 games. I don't know what the odds would be for it or how much money he'd be making, but I'm too late.
Jay's not much better with the horse racing. He phoned me last week and said, I've got a horse here, put it on at 10 to 1. By 5 past it lost.
But that's one bonus, obviously. But I've never been into all this Rangers done the coefficiency, and every time we built the coefficiency, Celtic benefited to it incredibly. But I'm not getting any sympathy on that side, but we'll maybe watch some of it. Any other comments?
Coming in from Cody saying Mikey Moon should start every game. I think he's
Mikey Moore.
He should be Mikey Moore, but I think Cody's right. You know,
I said it earlier.
Stardust, you know, in his team at the minute. It's so you look at the goal against Killy away. Someone that can just bring a defender in and turn him, go on a run and score.
Let me tell you what I would do with Moore. See, when you pick Moore in a starting lineup, I would say to Mikey Moore, you're playing up front. You can go left, right, or in the middle. You go wherever you want during the game, because he's that type of player. I would just say you need the freedom.
You need him to have the freedom. That's how you get the best out of him. At the start of the season, he was too far on either wing, just not in the game at all. He hasn't got that raw pace, that acceleration to get past the man on the wings. So I feel like he needs to be playing more centrally and driving through the midfield, running at the defenders, because he's got that quality, and we haven't seen enough of it. But now we are starting to see it. A few more comments here. Chick Sharp says a spine is needed, 2 centre backs, a hard man in midfield, and another midfielder.
French guy. Nice.
As much as I agree with Chick, I think Chick will agree. It's going to be hard to get them in January. Maybe get one or two. You're not got all them. If he did, then the manager's worked miracles, and he'll have to be doing that now, which I would imagine he is, because there's no director of football, so he's bringing his own players in, which I think's good.
Yeah, certainly agree. I certainly agree with the centre backs. I think midfield. Midfield for me is not a massive priority right now. So I think we've got good players in there for the time being. For next season, I think that's what we need. But short term, I think we'll agree we need to fix this defence. I think we need a couple of centre backs in, and I mean, Chick, you're absolutely right with that one. We need them in very, very quick, very, very pronto. Aye. Any more before we wrap up?
Kenny McLean. Would you take Kenny McLean? Comment here.
Aye. But we've had something happened. We went to sign him before, and something happened. I can't remember what it is, but I know some of his families for Cambuslang are at that area, I believe. Massive Blue Nose, Big Orange family, Rangers daft. So he wouldn't be a hard guy to deal with in terms of bringing in. And it's back to what we've spoken about 100 times more about bringing in guys that understand the club, that will get that wee bit more, that'll train harder, that want to be there. And he would certainly be one of them. We've missed out on too many of these guys early years. He would certainly be one of the guys I would be looking at.
But it's what I think Stevie G did really well when he brought in the likes of Alan McGregor, Steve Davis. You got Scott Arfield. Those type of characters, bringing those type of people into the club is exactly what we need right now. When we were playing Full Cook the other week and I saw Scott Arfield warm up, I just wish he had a different top on, because we needed him in that moment. 10 minutes to go, he's the type of player that will get you a goal, that will win you that game. but we didn't.
That's it. That's the kind of guys that as Chicken saying that we should be looking at. How many of these
Mm.
kind of guys we're going to get, I don't know, but guys that are going to be easy to deal with that would come to Rangers.
Yeah. We need somebody that can adapt straight away to the pressure and have it. You know, as we said, you know, sometimes the Rangers shirt can be a heavy shirt to wear.
Aye.
You need to be able to wear it.
You wouldn't have to say to McLean when it's all about. He knows all about Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a wee bit like, and it's too late. I'm just saying, it's a wee bit like the Lewis Ferguson scenario. He understands everything about Rangers, but snobbery kicks in. And every time we mentioned him on this channel, people laughed. For 2 years, I mentioned McInnes being the Rangers manager and get mocked on the channel, and now everybody's saying he should have got a job. Unfortunately, there's a snobbery, and we need to get rid of that because all the great Rangers teams, if you look at the Cup Winners' Cup, I know it's a long, long time ago, all Scottish players, all Scottish in the squad. I'm not saying it has to go back to that, but you have to have a core of people that understand.
Yeah, it's vital because all of these younger lads, foreign lads coming into the team, they need to be brought up to speed as quickly as possible with what the club's about, what the league's about, the demands that they're going to be put under. If they haven't got that, then we can't expect them to ever understand it because there's no one in the club making them understand. And so they're always going to fail.
If you do it correctly, then when you bring in the English lads, they'll adapt very quickly because guys like Moore, he's came in, he's only a wee boy, but he's understood the expectations. You can see his frustration, you can see the effort. He understands what it's about with Rangers, so it doesn't have to be Scottish guys all the time, but you need a Scottish core to be able to push that.
Yeah, it comes down to finding the right attitude, the right players with the right characters, which we just didn't get enough of this summer.
Aye.
But yeah.
But we've got the radiator zone in here and it's absolutely sweltering.
Yeah.
So
they've had a penalty, by the way.
Celtic.
Yeah, and they missed it. So,
good.
And then the half-time whistle went to a chorus of boos. So so I'm sure Nancy will be playing Battleships at half-time or something like that to try and get the best out of them. So
it's not been the best of nights. It's been a good show. I've enjoyed the chat. You've cheered me up a wee bit. It's good to see the regulars as well.
You must be depressed.
No, in general, sometimes you just want to talk. You want to talk about football.
If we've cheered you up, you must be the right man.
I think we need to remember that whether we win, lose, we draw, or whatever, we still love the club. But we've all got our opinions. We don't have to agree with each other, but we want the best. We can see where it's going. The Danny Rowe thing. Whether I think he picked the wrong team again, but I don't blame him. I just think he's got a problem where he's sitting going, I don't really want to swear too much, but he's probably sitting in the way home now going, oh, who do I pick? Because quite a lot of them are just nowhere near good enough.
But
so that's the problem.
Before we go, I just want to say that I'm frustrated that we didn't win today, but at the same time, I'm happy that we're not what's the phrase, papering over the cracks. You know, we are the cracks are there to see. The flaws in the squad are clear for everyone to see. So therefore, you know, and Andrew Kavanagh, he's here all the time, by the way, coming and watching the games and stuff, flying over from America. So he is an active owner, and I feel like there's going to be conversations weekly between the pair of them on how to fix his squad. And I do have the confidence in Danny Rowe that, you know, given time, he'll get the players in that we need in order to improve and move forward. Because this is such a massive season. It's there for the taking. We have to go now full force for the title because with the way things are going with them, I mean, the fact that they got rid of Martin O'Neill, honestly,
incredible.
That has got to be the worst decision of and especially this week as well, ahead of the game against Hearts, then the Europa League game against Roma, and then a cup final. Like, why would you do it then? Why would you not wait until after the cup final? Which is absolutely
anyway.
Just the decisions that are happening at that club.
Yeah,
we have to focus on things like that because that is who we're up against. And if they're making that many mistakes, we need to capitalize. This is our moment, and the owners have to see it as our moment. So we have to invest in January. Not 2 or 3 players. We're talking 5 or 6 at least.
I mean, we'll agree on that. But as a wise man once says, "Fuck them."
Yeah,
that's their problem. They've made some mistakes. They've gave us an opportunity to come back in the league. But one positive for tonight, just for me to finish off, Miovski's goal was absolutely top drawer, and the move for it. So if I'm going to take anything away for tonight, what a goal for Miovski.
Yeah.
Do you want to pronounce his name?
Miovski. No, I can say it. I just can't spell it. I spell it different. I can say it.
But no, I spell
it different every time.
But we have to move on. But it was a great goal, if nothing else.
Yes. So unfortunately, that wasn't the winner because I would be watching it back all night tonight. But yeah, oh well. Onwards and upwards, eh? Hibs at home on Monday.
We'll try and get on before that anyway. We'll try and do
Yeah, we
something the
definitely will,
weekend.
yeah.
And I'll be reminded I've got an interview on Sunday. Ex-Rangers player, ex-English manager, ex-Scottish manager. Big name for me to be interviewing, and a guy that knows his football. I'll keep these in suspense until the interview takes place.
Great. So yes, thank you all for joining. Please tune in to the interview on Sunday that Davey's going to be hosting. That would be great. Please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel out. That would be a massive help. Thank you all for joining, getting involved in the comments, and we will see you on the next one.